Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back again today with another fantasy football mock draft. Today, we're doing a 12-team half-PPR mock draft from the 4th spot, as requested by one of my subscribers, Eldar. I may have pronounced your name wrong. I'm very sorry. I'm terrible at names. I'm great at pronouncing them wrong, so I'm sorry for that. But with that being said, like I said, it's a 12-team half-PPR draft from the 4th slot. Now, I know a lot of people have been requesting me to do their draft. Now, I'm gonna run out of time. It was getting near September. I may not be able to do everyone's draft, but I do have a lot scheduled for everyone who has sent them already. So, before I start this video, I'd like to ask you guys to please go down below, click that subscribe button. It would really mean a lot to me. I'm going to help you dominate your draft, dominate during the regular season by making correct waiver wire decisions, making correct trades, correct matchups, and all of that. So, let's get right into the video. Please click that subscribe button. It would really mean a lot. And thank you guys all for 300 subscribers. So, let's get into the draft. So the first pick was Saquon Barkley, followed by Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, and now we are left with the biggest question of the draft. The 4th spot, in my opinion, might be the worst pick to have because it is very hard to decide on if you will pick Zeke or not. It's easier to decide if someone already picked Zeke and believes that Zeke is going to come back. Do I think Zeke will come back and not hold out? Right now, I'm recording this on 8/12 at 3:54 p.m. So if any injuries happen before that time, obviously I won't, or after that time, before you watch this video, I have no idea. So I only know about some injuries, and I do not know if Zeke Elliott he may have came back already, but he's not pleased with his contract. He ain't reporting, and I'm scared. So I'd just avoid him strictly, or to be quite frank, I'm just gonna avoid him and go with David Johnson, a guy who could be a top 5 running back likely on a pretty good team this, or not a good team because their defense is kind of whack, but should be a better team than last year now with Kyler Murray, and I think that they could have a comeback season, not a comeback season, but a better season this year. I think that DJ will be pretty good this year. So after we went DJ, Ezekiel Elliott came on the board, followed by D Hop, Devontae Adams, Le'Veon Bell, Michael Thomas, James Conner, Julio Jones, Joe Mixon, Todd Gurley, Odell Beckham Jr., Dalvin Cook, Nick Chubb, Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans, Juju, AB. Okay, so some picks to talk about here. James, or not James Conner, where is he? Todd Gurley at the 2-1. That's a little early for Gurley, in my opinion. I don't like drafting him due to that injured knee, that arthritis knee. You don't know if he's going to be playing every single game. He could be in one drive, out the other. Very fucking confusing, so I avoid him. Another pick to talk about here, AB at the 2-8. I'm avoiding AB because of this dispute over his helmet, his fucked up feet. If you've seen that picture of his feet, you would know you didn't want to fucking draft him due to that picture itself. It's kind of scary. The helmet issue is the fact that the NFL is making new helmets. Brady came out today as I'm recording the video and also voiced that he doesn't like the new helmets either because it kind of fucks with their vision. But AB is saying he will not play unless they give him a new helmet, or not a new helmet, but his older helmet back. Who knows what'll happen with that? So I just avoid him. Now, at the back of the draft, you saw at the 11th spot, David Scott went with Julio and Odell. Pretty typical for at the back of the draft for people to go double wide receiver. Happened here at the 6 and 7. Devontae Adams and Mike Evans and D Hop and Juju. Both pretty good teams. Will I do that? Likely no, because I think that unless it's like an 8 or 10 team league, it's hard to get that running back value late if you go with 2 wide receivers in a row. If you watch my no running back strategy, I talk about that in that video. If you're after this video, if you want to check that out, go ahead. So, with that being said, we're looking here. The best running back available currently is probably Kerryon Johnson, and I don't think he will come back to me. And the wide receivers that will come back to me, I'm fine with if we go Kerryon here, so I'd much rather just do that. Now, I don't like Melvin Gordon due to this fact that he's holding out. It could be up to 8 games because he only needs to play 8 games to get his 1 year accrued for the contract so that he can get the fuck out of there and go to a new team. So, I'm avoiding him. Damian Williams it came out that it's gonna be an RBBC, which means running back by committee. That Andy Reid guy, that man, the Kool-Aid man, that fat fuck said fuck you to all the Damian Williams truthers like myself. So get the fuck out of here. So we ain't drafting him. We'll go with Kerryon Johnson here. Best running back available. Probably likely couldn't be a top 10 guy, top 12 guy in my opinion. I love him in fantasy. He's gonna be getting that work in the back. He's gonna be the number 1 on the team getting the touches. He's gonna be catching passes. He's looked good in camp. And I like Kerryon. After we selected Kerryon Johnson, Damian Williams came at the board, followed by Adam Thielen, Travis Kelce, Melvin Gordon, Patrick Mahomes, and Leonard Fournette. So, now the question is, do we go with 3 running backs and punt the wide receiver position till the 4th round or secure a top wideout here. And I personally would rather just secure a top wideout here because I like Marlon Mack a lot, but I think that Keenan Allen is a step ahead of these other guys. Keenan Allen and Ty are a step ahead of all these other guys like Cooper, Diggs, Cooks, in my opinion. So I think I like Keenan Allen the most out of these guys. Keenan Allen is one of the best route runners in the NFL. If you watch his in the NFL, they do like the top 100 list. If you watch the top 100 list, all of the other wide receivers talk about how good Keenan Allen's route running is. He's a top route runner in the NFL. He has speed. He's, like I said, a great route runner, able to catch a lot of good passes. He's one of he's Keenan Allen's number one target. If Melvin Gordon is gone, they may rely heavily or a lot heavier on the passing game, and Keenan Allen will eat in that situation. Keenan Allen is a great wide receiver, was pretty good last year, has dealt with injuries in the past, so that is kind of baked in to the pick. He may get hurt, but we're going to hope that that doesn't happen and go Keenan Allen here at the 3-4. So after we selected Keenan Allen, Aaron Jones came off the board, followed by Amari Cooper, Josh Jacobs, Marlon Mack, Devontae Freeman, T.Y. Hilton, George Kittle, Me Timbers, Mark Ingram, Robert Woods, Derrick Henry, Brandon Cooks, Stefan Diggs, Zach Ertz, Julian Edelman, David Montgomery, Chris Carson. Now, big three tight ends already off the board. Kelsey, Kittle, Ertz. Kelsey typically goes in the 1st or 2nd round. Ertz and Kittle typically go around the 3-4 range in a 12 or 14 team league. Now we have and Pat Mahomes went in the 3rd round. Typically in these mocks, he goes in around the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. But if you're in an at-home league and you're playing with people who aren't as smart and don't really and view quarterbacks to be super high and not wait till later like we do here on this channel or like a lot of people do, they go quarterback early, and we're going to avoid doing that. But like I said, it could happen in the 1st or 2nd round. You can see Pat Mahomes fly off the board. So it could have been. It is proven to be quite the fatal flaw that we didn't go running back there, but there is still some running backs that I like, so I'd rather just go with a wideout here and then hope that one of them falls to us at the 5-4. I would have preferred to get Chris Carson or David Montgomery here, but it's fine because they did not fall to us due to the fact that there's been so much talk about Chris Carson being used in the passing game, so much talk about David Montgomery being great. His preseason week 1 game showed how good of a running back he is, and you can't buy all in on preseason. So you can look at you can look at him in training camp playing great against the Bears defense, one of the best defenses in the league, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinion. So I think that he is going to be a great running back this year. And the 3rd round value or the 4th round value on him is amazing. You're going to see him go in the 3rd or 2nd round in a lot of drafts. I've seen that happen. Even I got him in the 4th round in one of my leagues, and that was a blessing in itself. So now it's our pick, and we are going to be going with a wideout here, like I said. Now, I wouldn't think about going tight end because if Kittle was here, maybe I would pull the trigger on tight end. Otherwise, I don't want anything to do with O.J. Howard here in the 4th round. So I'd much rather just go wide out here. Now, Kenny Golladay or Chris Godwin. This decision has been made easier over the past couple days. Chris Godwin, you saw in preseason, lighting it up with famous Jameis. He was lighting it up. He scored a TD, touchdown season. He flashed. So Chris Godwin, in my opinion, far better than Kenny Golladay. Even though Kenny Golladay might be the wide receiver 1 on the Detroit, Chris Godwin's the number 2 on Tampa, but he showed flashes of greatness. I love Chris Godwin here in fantasy. He's on a team that's going to be playing from behind a lot, and they're going to be slinging the ball, and I love that. Now, he plays in the division with the Saints, Panthers, Falcons, and it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on his team. He plays 6 games against shootout games. Those are games where they're in a dome 4 of the times because they're playing against the Falcons. Or actually, technically, that was just a stupid take. 2 of the times they're in a dome because they're playing the Falcons and the Saints. And they both have domes. Chris Godwin is going to eat in those games. He's going to eat in every game. They got rid of Adam Humphries. It is the Chris Godwin number 2 show, and he's going to be great. So after we selected Chris Godwin, Philip Lindsay came off the board, followed by Cooper Kupp, A.J. Green, Sony Michel, Calvin Ridley, Kenny Golladay. So A.J. Green at the 412 is a way too early, in my opinion, to be selecting AJ Green because of that injury. Now he may be out 1, 2, 3 games, right? And it's like, oh, that's fine. You're getting a top 12 wide receiver for that value. Yeah, sure. If that's true, if he stays healthy after that, this motherfucker literally is so injury prone that it's crazy. He gets turf toe every fucking year. It's like I don't know what the fuck that guy's doing. He's not eating the correct breakfast or something. He's not eating his Wheaties or something because he gets injured every year, and we're just avoiding that shit. So I do want to get a running back here. And I think I have changed my mind on this one player who I'm going to pick here. And I'm not all in on this take because this take could completely change, but for right now, I'm pretty in on this. Tevin Coleman is now, with Jerick McKinnon hurt, is looking like the RB1 or 2 on the team. He looks like he is going to be seeing. Holy shit, I clicked on something on accident on my other screen. Second monitor, my bad. But Tevin Coleman looks like he could be seeing a lot of pass catching work on this team. And I think that he's also been getting a lot of rushing yards. And he proved that he could do it in the rushing game and the passing game on the Falcons. And I think that the 49ers may utilize him heavily. And while it is kind of risky, in my opinion, James White is a safer pick. If you'd rather go with safety, I'd go James White. But I think Tevin Coleman this year could be a steal here in the 5th round. After we selected Tevin Coleman, Mike Williams came off the board, followed by Tyler Boyd, Tyler Lockett, Deshaun Watson, O.J. Howard, James White, Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Miller, Andrew Luck, Dante Pettis, Jarvis Landry, Baker Mayfield, DJ Moore, Evan Engram, Alshon Jeffrey, Tariq Cohen. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quarterbacks off the board and 5 tight ends off the board. So a lot of these quarterbacks, guys like Deshaun, Rodgers, Luck, may end up going like the 3rd or 4th round if you're at home draft. They fell here to the 5th and 6th round. Baker has been rising up the draft boards. He's typically a guy you can snag in the 7th, 8th round. Now he's going even earlier. I like Baker Mayfield. Do I like him that much? Am I feeling dangerous? Maybe one draft I'll feel dangerous and pick him. But right now, I'm not really drafting any of these quarterbacks super high. If Rodgers falls like the 6th round, it's so hard not to pull the trigger on a guy who you know will be a top 2 quarterback that's going to be slinging the ball a lot. So, we are going to go with, I think, another running back and go with, let's see the wide receivers first. You gotta before you lock yourself into going running back or wide receiver, quarterback, or tight end at a certain position, you need to look at the other value at all the other positions. Tight ends, guys like Hunter Henry, Jared Cook, Eric Ebron, Vance McDonald. I don't like Eric Ebron, but all those other guys seem like solid targets. That's fine with me. So we can just wait a bit. On the wide receiver side of things, still a lot of wide receivers I like, so I'm fine waiting. I do like Robbie Anderson. And then at running back, there's a lot of guys that I still like too. So I think I may just go with another running back because I want to back up with a more safety valve or a safer pick because I went to Tevin Coleman, who in my opinion is a little bit more risky. So I'm going to go with Kenyan Drake, who a lot of people are off of now, and his ADP fell slightly. A lot of people were on him a couple of months ago because he was the solidified RB1 on the team. Now it looks like Kalen Ballage is going to be getting some touches, some work. Could be a 60-40 split in Kenyan Drake's favor. Kalen Ballage could emerge as the running back one on the team, but in my opinion, I think Kenyan Drake is still going to be pretty good. Still going to be a safe guy you can put in to score you 12 points every week. He's used in the running game and in the passing game, so that's obviously good for a half PPR league, and I like him here. He's an RB1 going amongst guys that are RB2s on their team. So after we went Kenyan Drake, Austin Eckler went, followed by Hunter Henry, Robbie Anderson, Matty Ice, Darius Geis, what a rhyme, and then Rashad Penny. So we have 4 running backs, 2 wideouts, no quarterback, and the quarterback that I would have pulled the trigger here on in the 7th, which is Matty Ice, ended up not falling to us. So that's perfectly fine. The tight ends are still looking good. I think I'm willing to wait one more round and then swing for Vance McDonald here. So we're just going to go with, let's see the wide receivers still available. All right, there is still some good wide receivers available, so I think I'll just pull the trigger here on one that will be my wide receiver 3. And that'll be, in my opinion, it's kind of a hard choice here. Do I prefer Watkins, whose buy is the same as Keenan Allen's? Do I want Geronimo Allison for a different buy? Do I want Marvin Jones, MVS, D.D. Westbrook, Curtis Samuel? A lot of names that I like. So I may actually just go with another running back here because I see a lot of value in the 8th at the wide receiver position. And when you draft a lot of running backs like this, you're going to be seeing trades all the time. If you're in a league that trades somewhat, you're going to be seeing if you secure guys like Kenyan Drake, Tevin Coleman, a guy like Miles Sanders back here, Darrell Henderson, some of these guys could be used in a trade to secure a top flight wideout. You're going to be seeing that all season because running backs are so volatile that if you draft a shit ton of them, people are going to come knocking at your door needing them. So we're going to go with a running back who, in my opinion, could emerge as the running back one on the Philadelphia Eagles, and that is Miles Sanders, rookie. Now, the thing is, he looks good in practice. He looks great in training camp, but he made little impact on his debut, so that could be something that scares you away. But I believe that Miles Sanders, just a few weeks into the season, will emerge as that running back one. So, and he's our 1, 2, 3, 4. He's our running back 5. So he's going to be riding the pine for a bunch of time, right? That rhymed as well. Riding the pine for a bunch of time. Maybe it didn't actually. I'm a bit dumb, but Miles Sanders could become that RB1 a couple weeks in, and he's riding the bench, so you don't even need to start him, and then you throw him in there when you need him. So we're going to go with Miles Sanders here. And after we picked Miles Sanders, I'd like to ask you guys to please go down below and click that like if you've enjoyed thus far. It would really mean a lot to me. So after we went Miles Sanders, Allen Robinson went followed by Christian Kirk, Latavius Murray, Will Fuller, Chicago Bears defense, Drew Brees, Darrell Henderson, Jordan Howard, Jared Cook, Kareem Hunt, Eric Ebron, Marvin Jones, Larry Fitz, Kyler Murray, Jalen Samuels, Carson Wentz. So now we're going to load up on some solid wideouts, and some great wideouts did end up falling our way, so it was definitely worth holding on and waiting. So we are going to go with a move that is slightly risky because, in my opinion, I don't really look at the buys, but Keenan Allen and Sammy Watkins have the same bye week. But that's fine with me because at the end of the day, you can just a guy like Sammy Watkins may not be on your team week 12. A guy like some of these guys are getting hurt. You're cutting a lot of people on your team. So look, basing a pick off of a buy isn't necessarily the best decision. So for that reason, we're just going to go Sammy Watkins here. I think he's the wide receiver 2 on Kansas City, a team that loves to throw the ball. They have one of the best quarterbacks in the league in Patrick Mahomes. Sammy Watkins played great in the 2 playoff games that they played in, the last 2 playoff games they played in. He played amazing, got over 100 yards, and I think he could do that in a bunch of games this year. And he's not even a guy we're starting every week, so it's perfectly fine to have a guy like Sammy Watkins on the team. After we went Watkins, MVS went followed by Royce Freeman, Allison, Cortland Sutton, Sterling, Shepard, Russell Wilson. And now I'd like to get some more wide receiver value before we load up on that tight end. Now, I know Vance is not going to come back to us, but it's fine because we can just take another tight end later. So we're just going to go with a wide receiver I love targeting here, and it's between Curtis Samuel or D.D. Westbrook. And I'm starting to love D.D. slightly more than Curtis Samuel, but I'll give you I'll talk about both of them, and then you guys could decide who you would personally want at this pick. So D.D. is going to be the slot receiver in the Nick Foles-led Jacksonville Jaguars. Nick Foles loves targeting the slot receiver. You can see that from years past if you go back and look. And then there's Curtis Samuel. Or D.D. Westbrook is also probably the wide receiver 1 on that team, in my opinion, going to finish with the most yards. Marquise Lee is on the pup. Curtis Samuel, the wide receiver 2 on Carolina, played better than DJ Moore down the stretch, could emerge to be better than DJ Moore. Reports came out today as I'm recording this that Curtis Samuel is very much impressing the Carolina Panthers. So it's one or the other. Would you rather have the wide receiver 1 or a wide receiver 2 on a different team? But Curtis Samuel could also be the wide receiver 1 in target, so kind of confusing here. But I think when it gun to the head, I think I'm just going to go with the guy that I'd prefer to have on my team that I've talked a lot about, and that's just Curtis Samuel. Now, I wouldn't hate going DD there. I could go with either, to be honest. So after I went Curtis, Jared Goff came off the board, followed by Big Vance McDonald, LaShawn McCoy, Rojo, David Njoku, Corey Davis, D.D. Westbrook, DK Metcalf, Famous Jameis, Cam Newton, Damian Harris, Carlos Hyde, Jags defense, N'Keal Harry, Phillip Rivers, and Adrian Peterson. So like I said, our tight end was taken, which is perfectly fine. Because my favorite tight end target late, which is Mark Andrews, goes typically around the 11th round. A lot of the quarterbacks are gone currently. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 teams already have a quarterback. So some teams already have backups. In a 12-team league, you don't really need a backup. You could go for one if you want, but I normally don't. So we're going to go with one more running back here and then likely go with our quarterback tight end in the next 2 rounds. So we are now going to get some value at running back and go with, it was between Peyton Barber and Duke Johnson. Duke Johnson, yesterday as you're watching this, came down with a hamstring injury, I believe it'll probably tell me here. He got hurt with a hamstring. So that's obviously worrisome, but as long as he rests up and is able to come back for the regular season, I'm fine with that because he's going to be riding the pine on our team, and I think that he will be perfectly fine a couple weeks into the season and be a guy that we could use. So we're going to draft Duke here. After going with Duke, Kiki came off the board, followed by Peyton Barber, LA Rams. So don't be drafting a defense early. This guy went with the Bears in the 7th round. That's putting a target on your head to be laughed at and be an idiot. So after the Rams went, Emmanuel Sanders went, followed by Kalen Ballage, LA Chargers. Now we're going to pull the trigger on the tight end because he's not going to fall to us if we don't pick him now, and that is Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is looking to be the George Kittle of last year. I've seen fantasy experts, not like myself, I'm not much of an expert, but these guys, they write articles about how Mark Andrews is going to be the new George Kittle. Do I buy into that? I don't think he's going to be a top 4 tight end personally, but I know he's going to be a top 10 guy that you find super late and will have games where he's a top 5 guy. Lamar Jackson, obviously not the best quarterback, but is looking to emerge this year as a better quarterback because it reports out of camp that he's throwing the ball better. He's got this new form. He's able to throw it, and he loves throwing it to Mark Andrews. So we're going to draft Mark Andrews. After we went with Mark Andrews, Deshaun Jackson came off the board, followed by Jerick McKinnon, Anthony Miller, Tom Brady, Big Ben Roethlisberger, Baltimore Ravens, Devin Singletary, James Washington, Alexander Madison, Dante Moncrief, Lamar Jackson, Golden Tate, TJ Hawkinson, Austin Hooper, Trey Boo Boo, Matt Breida. So now we're going to get our quarterback. And we're going to go with, I've been drafting Josh Allen a lot, but I do still like Dak Prescott as that safety valve. He's been a top 12 quarterback every single year he's been in the NFL. So what makes you think that he won't do it again with a better offensive weapons? He's run 6 rushing touchdowns every single year of his career. He can do that again easily. So I'm going to go with Dak Prescott here. I think he's safer than Mr. Josh Allen when we're only going to draft one quarterback. So after we drafted Dak, Devin Funchess came off the board, followed by Houston Texans, Tyrell Williams, Delaney Walker, Jimmy Guap, Kirk Cousins. Sorry if you just heard my stomach growl. I have not eaten anything today. We on the fantasy football grind. So we're going to go with the defense here. The way you're going to go with the defense is go on Google, type in NFL schedule week 1, draft a defense playing a shitty offense. It's that simple. The Cowboys are playing the Giants week 1, and the Browns are playing the Titans. So one of the two. I like the Cowboys personally better. But the Browns could obviously be good too. I have them in certain leagues too. So after we went the Cowboys, the Vikings went, followed by Tucker, Ito Smith, Greg the Leg Zerline, Paris Campbell, Justice Hill, Browns defense, Josh Gordon, bunch of kickers, John Brown, bunch of defenses, Kyle Rudolph, and now we pick our kicker. Best kicker available is Robbie Gould. Okay, let me talk about Josh Gordon real quick. He is trying to come back into the league. He's said he's coming back. He's reinstating. Will Mr. Goodell let him back in? That is the question of the hour. So that's something that you need to be looking at. And I also just realized we went a defense and kicker not the last 2 rounds, and we still have a spot for one more running back or wide receiver, which was a bit of an oopsie because typically I don't do that. Typically you want these two to be your last 2 round picks, but that's fine because we messed up a bit, but you're still getting about the same running back value back here. So we have 1, a 2, a 3, 4, 5, 6 running backs, 1, 2, 3, 4 wide receivers. So we'll just go with one more wide receiver here and take the shot at Tre'Quan Smith being the wide receiver 2 on New Orleans. Typically, you need to finish with more running backs than wide receivers every single time unless it's a 3 wide receiver league, which this isn't. After we went Tre'Quan Smith, Michael Badgley went, followed by Justin Jackson, which is a great pick there due to the fact that Melvin Gordon's holding out. Could be holding out potentially for 8 games, and you're having probably a top 25 running back in Justin Jackson in fantasy. Followed by Mason Crosby, Michael Gallup, Foreman, Dante Foreman, Greg Olsen, Kenny Stills, Eagles defense. So our finishing lineup is Dak at quarterback. Our 2 running backs are Johnson and Johnson. Johnson and Johnson company right there. Our wideouts are Keenan Allen, Chris Godwin. Our tight end is Mark Andrews. Our flex is Coleman. Could be switched in for someone else. Our kicker is Gould. Our defense is the Cowboys. Our bench is comprised of Kenyan Drake, Miles Sanders, Sammy Watkins, Curtis Samuel, Duke Johnson, and Tre'Quan Smith. So thank you guys all for watching the video. If you did end up enjoying this, please click that subscribe button because, like I said, I'm going to help you win your league by making correct decisions during the draft, during the regular season, during the playoffs. So thank you all for watching. This is the final video of the day. I believe there may be one later if I didn't upload it already. But have a great goddamn day. I love you all. Goodbye.